Basilray from vapetv.com here on YouTube, slug of different forums. Had the first ever Basilray's Great Addy debate Monday night on Vape TV. Wildly successful. Over 1,000 people turned in. If you missed it, it's recorded out there. You can go out to stickcam.com and check it out. I'll have a link to last week's episode right in the description. If you want to know what's going on with Vape TV, go ahead and follow me on Twitter. It's at Basilray. You might also want to follow at Vape TV. You'll find about you'll get tweets on all the other hosts as well. Stuff that's going on with Vape TV, giveaways, contests, the whole works. It's we've had a pretty successful couple of nights. So thank you to all of those who did tune in. And if you haven't tuned in yet, there's still plenty of time. We're going live streaming every week now. So definitely check it out. Follow me on Twitter. Subscribe here on YouTube. There'll be updates, the whole works. But today we're going to take a quick look at a device here. This is the XS-Haler or mini X-Haler from Nhaler.com. I picked this up off the forums in a trade. This is actually going to be a Christmas present to my little brother who is stricken with a terrible, terrible affliction. We talked about it briefly on Vape TV the other night. He chews tobacco, and he's been watching me start vaping. I went from smoking a pack a day back in April to not having touched a cigarette since. And he wanted to be able to do the same thing with chewing tobacco. So I got him this mini X-Haler. I did reskin it here with the blue carbon skin. The button was in good shape. I got one of these fancy twisted drip tips from Brew over at Nhaler, who I've got to say came through with a bit of a Christmas miracle. I got everything taken apart and cleaned up, and I went and ordered the skin that my little brother was going to like the best. And when I was kind of just putting it back together to make sure everything was going to fit, I pretty much all but wrecked this plastic end cap, so I was frantic. I put in my order late, like, 11 o'clock Central Time at night. So I was like, oh no, they could get this shipped out first thing in the morning. I really need this. So I sent them an email. I PM'd Drew on ECF and just said, hey, I'll gladly pay for this. If there's any way I could just get it tacked in here with my order. I really need one. It's a Christmas present for my brother. Drew was fantastic. Gave me a couple pointers as to probably why I wrecked it, and he was spot on. And actually just threw one in my order. Didn't charge me anything. He has lowered his shipping prices too, which in the past was kind of my gripe with Nhaler. So Drew's really listened to the people, and I had a really great experience with Nhaler. So that being said, replacing the skin is a breeze. If you can put on a sticker and use a knife, you are good. Putting this button back in is a little bit tricky. But enough about that. Let's talk about the device. So it's a small, pretty pocket-friendly device. The button sticks out here. It's a nice, springy button. It's got a brass top cap. Mine is threaded for 510. So in it I have Cisco low-resistance atomizer. The brass cap screws off nice and easy. It doesn't rub too much together. Probably put a little bit of Noah locks on here before this goes to my brother. And then inside I also have the IMR 18350 that I picked up from Drew as well. And this is one of the better prices I've seen for an IMR battery. It's the 800 milliamp hour 3.7 volt battery. So inside here, the button slips into a collar that has a spring attached to it. So the spring in here actually connects with the battery. And what happens is that the button, and I know you're not going to see this at all, but the button, when you press it down, there's a post here that actually connects to the other side of the tube, and that's what closes the circuit. So it's an entirely mechanical device, pretty slick, and it just works. It works really, really well. So let's go ahead and put it back together. And you can see it's not terribly big. It's maybe about half the length of, say, a silver bullet, right about there, but it is quite a bit smaller in diameter than the silver bullet would be. And the device works really pretty well. It'd be a great little stealth device. You can pretty much pocket the whole thing in your hand here. And I've got, I guess, you call them fat hands. I don't have long fingers, but I've got big, wide hands. So, I could easily palm this whole thing. But let's take a little puff and see how it performs. And you can see it's got a vapor grate, no problems powering the Cisco low resistance 510. In here today I do have some Backwoods Brew Casablanca, which is a 70-30 blend, so no problems here. What we're going to do is we're actually going to take this to the desk, so we're going to stop rolling here for a minute. We're going to bring it back, we're going to check out some voltages and see what this device is going to do under load and how well it's going to power there, and that's going to about wrap it up for us. Alright, so here we are all fired up for the test. I've got my fancy connector here connected right up to the mini XS-Haler with that fancy blue carbon fiber, sweet little twisted blue drip tip, and we've got the multimeter. Let's slide that into focus here. Again, this is the Cisco low resistance 510 atomizer, so it's going to be pretty low resistance, about 1.4, so we'll see how it performs, what kind of power the atomizer is actually receiving. So let's go ahead and fire it. And this is pretty much a fully charged battery. I took this right off the charger this morning. So let's let it drop again here. So it started to get to 3. Now this atomizer is a little bit warm, but not too warm, so it shouldn't be jacking up the resistance too much. Let's try it again one more time here. We'll give it one last shot. Let's see what you can do, mini XS-Haler. So right about 3 seems to be the peak that it's going to put out with this IMR high drain battery. Now again, pairing that with the Cisco low resistance 510 is maybe not the best choice for a device that just runs on one of these 16340s. But overall, right at about 3, it is going to deliver a pretty decent experience. You're going to get plenty of vapor and flavor with the Cisco low resistance 510. So here it is. Let's see if we can get it to focus in. No. But again, it is a small battery device, so you can't expect to be pushing, a full 3.7 plus to the atomizer here with just a small battery. I could probably slap an eSmall 510 on here, or maybe just a standard 510, and I think you're still going to get real good results from this battery and this device, but I can't get enough of these Cisco low resistance atomizers. So I'm going to unhook it here. Whoop. And just going to give you one more side shot of the vapor that it will put out. Sorry, my desk is a freaking mess. I got juice everywhere, I got receipts everywhere, I got some gum, I got some money, some Christmas money, a little bit of everything. But here's one more side shot of the vapor. So you can see, it is enough vapor to pretty much engulf the entire camera lens. Let me try and get one more better shot. So you can see this device, even with this atomizer combination, which is maybe not the best pair for this exact device, it is still really going to perform pretty well. Again, it is nice and pocket friendly. So let's clip back in for some final thoughts. All in all, the mini XS-Haler is a pretty slick device. The one takeaway here, the button is a little bit hard to get in and out if you need to replace the skin. I nicked up the threads here on the bottom and nicked up the decal itself. But all in all, it was still relatively easy for someone who's not very mechanically inclined, such as myself. Button works great, nice pressy button. Now this is probably going to pocket fire if you're not careful, because there is no master on-off switch, but it does take a pretty good amount of force. If I push this to here, it's not firing. Now it's pushed closed. I got to give it a little more beyond that, and part of that's probably because I don't have the button necessarily seated in here as well as it could be. But that extra little bit of force that it really needs is probably going to be what keeps it from pocket firing as easy. So I'm going to leave it like this. If my little brother wants to fix it, he's a hands-on mechanic-y type. He can gladly do that. That's on him. But again, many thanks to Drew and the gang over at X-Haler for bailing me out here with this free replacement bottom cap. Many thanks to you. I will forever owe you one. And yeah, the mini XS-Haler, or the mini, well, the mini X-Haler, as I call it, or the XS-Haler mini, I think they call it, or the XS-Haler. Either way, just a smaller version of the X-Haler 3.7 volt device. Pretty rock and roll, not bad, nice and stealthy. This would be a great, you're out in public and just, you know, want to sneak a vape kind of device. So, again, if you're not following me on Twitter, please do so. It's Basilray over on Twitter. I'm on New Vapor, I'm on ECF, I'm on Vapors Forum now. I'm still going to be putting stuff on YouTube. And of course, I'm on Monday nights, 7 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, only on Vape TV.